its ups and downs. Turn your pretty face into an ugly frown. Seems that when I fix one thing,
Hello, welcome to another hour or another half an hour of The Awakening. My guests today are two of the candidates who won the election, and they worked very, very hard, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Diane?
Oh, well, I'm Diane Polangin. I'm a council member in District 2.
Okay.
C.Trouth, council member, District 4.
Well, I'm very proud of both of you. You guys worked your fannies off and you won.
Thank you.
Are you happy to be back, Diane?
I'm very happy, very happy.
No problems? You were too tired, Diane. You run from door to door. People said you're like Little Red Riding Hood when you're going up and down the streets.
It's because I'm always in red.
I know, but you did a wonderful
job. You have to. I mean, you need to be in touch with the constituents. You need to knock on the doors and see what it is they want. You need to listen to them.
Yeah, but from the county outreach to what you're doing now, you've come a long
Community outreach, yeah.
You've come a long way, baby.
Ike and I were both on community outreach together, yeah.
That's
and
how
it was
you met
funny
one
because
another?
Yeah, because he came in one night, he says, well, I tell you, I'm going to run for city council. I said, you are, Ike, so am I.
Oh, my goodness. Is it okay to call you by your first name, Ike?
Sure, everybody calls me Ike.
How did you get involved in this? What brainstorm did you have to do this?
Actually, it was the community. I was working on some projects. One of them was Hall Station Road. There's a number of HOA associations. I was a member of the board of directors of Devonshire States. And we were working with Tall Oaks, Grove Hurst, Turnberry, Cullington Station, Cullington Manor, and just working with the folks there that were on the HOAs. They saw how I was working and they just asked me, they said, have you ever considered to run for city council? And I said, no. No.
You probably didn't even know what it entailed, did you?
No, I didn't.
Because I always say yes to everything until I get there. Don't even know what I'm going to do. That's
No.
me.
Right, so that's how it really started.
But you've done a great job.
Thank you very much.
And
Thank
Diane, you're my best friend. I'm not saying this because you are, but you work your hiney off too.
Well, you know, everybody on the council does. It's,
Yes.
To do a good job, you have to.
You have to get down.
Yeah. You have to get in the trenches.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a little bit about your life, just a little bit, okay?
Sure.
You're married?
Yes.
Okay, how long?
32 years.
Wonderful. And you have one child?
One child.
One son.
Isaac the Fourth. He's assistant state's attorney.
That's fabulous.
For Prince George County.
What if he'd like to come on and talk?
He probably would.
I would like to have him on.
Okay.
All right, Diane, tell me about you. I know everything, but tell me again.
Well, I'm married for 25 or so years.
Okay.
4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys, 4 grandsons. Old grandsons.
Old grandson.
24, 19, 17, and 11.
How do you feel about what you're doing, Diane? I know
love it.
you're passionate.
I love it. As a matter of fact, what's really exciting is my colleagues voted me in, nominated and voted me in as Mayor Pro Tem.
Oh.
And I'm the first female Mayor Pro Tem.
Wonderful.
Now, we've had female mayors, but not Pro Tem because that's only been since, I believe, 78, Mayor Pro Tem.
Now, what is Pro Tem? I don't know.
Well, it means basically that I call the city manager every day and make sure Fred's alive.
I haven't seen Fred for a while.
Pro Tem means temporary. It means that in his absence, I would fill in for him.
That's a wonderful honor to have you.
Yeah, it is.
Proud.
It really is.
But what I like about you, you don't go around bragging. That's what I like. We know what we do, so we don't brag about it. We don't have to till we get together, and then you and I talk.
Well, but that's different when we talk.
That's different when we talk. Yeah, yeah. What are some of the things you'd like to still see changed here in Bowie?
Well, I'd like to see the transportation improve.
That's good.
And I'd also like to see us to continue to work along the lines of making sure that we're taking care of the needs of the seniors and also our most precious resource, and that's our youth. We really have to focus in on the youth because if we catch them early on and make them productive citizens, it costs less money to put the money out up front. It's like that Fran oil commercial. I guess I'm telling my age. But
don't worry, you don't look a day over 40. You don't look a day over 40.
They talk about with the Fran oil commercial, pay me now, pay me later. You
Right.
know, if you don't take care of the situation up front and take care of it on the rear, then it's going to cost you more money. And those are some of the things that we really need to focus in on individuals. Then there's also other areas, you know, as far as economic development, we really need to focus on that and look at, see if we can change our tax base, because we're predominantly residential tax base. So we need to do something to see what we can do to increase the commercial footprint.
But Diane, you and I are like this. We have a lot of violence here in Bowie.
Yes.
Oh, there's a lot of car break-ins. There's a lot of windows broken. There's money stolen. What do you think is happening to us? From a woman's perspective.
We're close to the city.
Yes.
And we're easy to get in and get out of. We're so close to Route 50. And we, you know, along with progress comes crime.
Yes.
And so it's easy to come in and commit the crime and get off on Route 50 and be gone before you can be caught. My fear is the way that children treat their parents. I mean, you know, we have so much domestic violence. And I hate to use the term domestic violence, because there is nothing domestic about violence.
No, it's not.
But we have a lot of family violence. And so, and the children are really, once you get past the spouse, it's the children, I think, are worse than the spouse.
They are. They're very mouthy and they're very angry. Oh, very angry.
And we need to really find a way of channeling that anger and helping them. Now, I was just working with the Youth Bowie group this afternoon. What a fabulous, fabulous group of kids. What a fabulous outreach project this is for the kids too. There's 16 children in this
How old are they?
program. They're sophomores and juniors. And they meet once a month, and they have a different program. They learn financing, and they go from business to business. And today I was teaching them resume writing and interviewing skills, so that they would know how to get a job or to interview for their college. And this is the cream of the crop. These aren't children who are in trouble. And we do have
bad.
And we do have a good mentoring program out of the high school for the at-risk kids, and it's a mentoring program. But they meet only once a week at lunchtime. Although when they're done with that program, they will look at you and they will say to you, I would have fallen through the cracks. I would be in jail had I not done this program. I guess we just need more programs. We need a way to reach more of the children, because we really need to channel that anger.
I feel that there's a lot of parents not doing their jobs.
Well, that's part of it. And first of all, they're afraid to do their job.
Yes.
Look how many parents want to be the child's best friend. And then when they get to be a teenager, they realize, oh, I can't be your best friend. And that's when the violence starts.
Yes, it does. It's very hard raising children. I don't care what state you're in.
Oh, I know it.
It's very hard. Because I know I work with quite a few down at Cheltenham and so forth. But I go in there, and the first time I went in, I think I told you, Diane, I reached out to give the child a hug, and his body was as stiff as a board. But after I had been going there like 2 or 3 times, can I have another hug before you leave?
Yeah.
And I've got so many kids who work out at Bob Evans. One boy was cleaning the toilets, and now he's the head cook.
Yeah.
So there are ways. We just need more dedicated people.
You need to spend the time with the kids and funnel them in the right direction.
Not
and you
sitting
need
in front of the boob tube.
No, you need to put a heavy price on education.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
We really need to do that. And we need to utilize some of the programs that we have. For example, the Bowie Police Department has the Explorers program.
Yes.
I was an Explorer Scout.
And what does that stand for?
You have the Cub Scouts, the Boy Scouts, and the Explorers, and that's a progression of age.
Okay.
The younger kids, you know, you first come in as a Cub Scout, and then you matriculate to the Boy Scouts, and then the older kids, your teenagers, all the way up until roughly about 19, 20 years of age, you're in the Explorer Scouts, and it really helps you. It gives you a lot of it builds interpersonal skills. And that's something that's really needed. It generates respect for one another. That's something that's really needed. And these are some of the things, the principles, credos, of which you need to enforce and make a high priority as far as the youth are concerned. And you really have to spend time with them, because if you don't spend the time with them, then it's too late to try to catch them when they're teenagers, to try to retrain them and retool them.
Yeah. I can go in a store, Diane, as a girl, maybe 12 or 13, wants something from her mother. She says no. She shoved her mother. Yesterday I saw this, and even in a CVS drugstore. What can we do to get the parents to become more invested in their child's lives?
And the mother probably did nothing.
Nothing. She never said a word. She just walked away.
Say a word.
No.
And instead of taking the child and leaving the store, or she should have left the store
and left her in there. She was yelling and screaming.
That's what they do. They yell and holler at each other. There's a need for parenting classes.
Oh God, yes.
We offer, the city offers some fabulous classes through the youth services, and we have, I think, 5 or 6 really well-educated women who work, social workers who help these children, and the programs are phenomenal. It's getting the child there. It's making sure that they understand that they need to channel the energy, the anger. It's getting the parent to understand there's a problem, that this is not a normal behavior. So it's something that's going to take some time, but it's like domestic violence. It's like when the spousal abuse. How do you stop that? It's the same thing with the child. You got to break the chain of violence somewhere.
Yes.
And it's got to start with, early on.
In the home.
Start in the home with the child. Because that child who abuses that mother is going to grow up and abuse their spouse.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes. Because I've talked to a lot of young boys, and they said, well, my dad hit my mother, and she never called the police, so I can do it. So I've devised a new one to add, go in with this and take some of that stuff back. Because just because dad does it, you don't have to grow up to be a man like that. Because these kids are smart. They're smart.
They're smart, but...
Smart and dumb. I'll say smart and dumb. They go together. They really,
because they can't help themselves. That's what they've been taught. That's all they know. It's just like why women accept abuse. It's all they know. They've been abused from day one. They don't know any different.
Plus, we think we needed it, we deserved it, and that's not true either.
That's not true.
No, no.
And you need more men to be fathers instead of dads.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
There's a distinct difference between being a dad. Anybody can be a dad.
That's right.
But it takes a special person to be a father.
That's a good point, Diane. Because it's true. Because I go to the gym and I'll talk to some guys and I say, how's your children? Oh, I don't know. I haven't talked to him for a couple of weeks. I said, is he living with you? Yeah, but I don't have time. I have to go home from work. I have a few beers and I take a nap. See? But as a mom, what do we do when we go home? It's cook dinner. I always used to ask my kids what's going on, what's happening in your life, how was your day? And I kept in touch with the teacher. Is she talking? Is she not talking? Is she doing better in school?
Right. Yeah.
So go on, Diane. You always sound what you feel. Go ahead.
I was just thinking we got off onto a totally different topic when we were starting to talk about, because it's odd. Ike and I are really good buddies, and
I can tell you like each other.
I saw him in the hallway, and he said he was going down to do your show. I thought you would be finished when I came down. I said, well, I'm supposed to do Angie's show too. Ask her if she still wants to be on today. And I came in, so what? We're doing it together. We do everything together.
That's a good thing now.
So we're going to have to work on something to try to get something for these kids.
Yes,
we're going to have to try to do something.
Well, I'm working on that. Well, with my son, we're setting up a 501c3 foundation.
That's what I have.
And with the foundation, the focus is going to be on trying to help the kids and also doing whatever I can towards helping the seniors. But the main focus is definitely going to be on the kids, because so many times, by us being city council members for the city of Bowie,
you have a voice.
We have a voice,
yes,
but the voice that we do not have the power or the clout to influence the school system.
That's right.
And the money.
Right.
You do need money.
So if you can put together a 501c3 foundation like we're getting ready to do now and funnel money into the schools, that gives us a great opportunity to have a voice, that we have an ear to those people that are sitting at the table, even though we're not sitting at the table, that we can have some sort of an influence on them, because they see what we're doing is positive, and when you're interacting with them, it doesn't become adversarial. It becomes mutual respect for one another, and you're more apt to get some of the things that you really want. It's all about relationship. Relationship building is key in our business.
Yes.
The relationships that we build with the elected officials at higher levels, at the county, at the state, and even at the federal level, we can generate and bring back a number of opportunities, investments, money into the city of Bowie. And without those relationships, and if we had an adversarial relationship, you're not going to get those type of things that come back into the city of Bowie. And it's also important because Diane will be the first one to tell you, we've talked together on numerous occasions. It's not about us. It's about our constituents.
That's right, it is.
Right.
It is. You
It's
guys
not
work
about
very
us.
hard. I know you
Right.
do.
Yeah.
I know you do. And I'm very proud to have you both here together.
Thank you.
And to have two of the winners. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
I hope I haven't made some bad sides, Diane. Go on. What about your outreach? You went from...
Well, basically, I'm still doing the same thing that I've always done. It's just when you have the word council member behind your name, you have a little more
Clout.
The other thing is that when, you know how you get calls from women in the middle of the night, and they're afraid to call you in the middle of the night, but then somebody will tell them, no, it's okay, they can call you. Well, the same for me, when people call me, they feel like they're going to get help that they need immediately because it's someone on the council, and so, and they know that they don't have to be afraid to talk to me, that it's going to be personal between them and I, and so, you know, and it's easier to get a hold of you because someone will say, well, all you've got to do is call City Hall.
Right.
They'll put you in touch with Diane. So I'm still doing the same things, you know, trying to help.
Calls from the same number.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know Diane Polangin. I said, yes, I do. What do you need? Because I know they need something.
That's right. That's right. So, you know, so I'm still trying to help the women and help the children and cook at some in D.C. And, you know, it's just the same outreach. It's just a little broader because I have a whole district to take care of now.
Yeah, you do. I remember the night that I called you. Remember the night I got beat up? I was doing a class of domestic violence, and they had just left, and I went to the grocery store, and I came home, and I was jumped from behind by two men. And so I called Diane, of course, after they hurt me pretty bad.
Yeah,
my
they
legs.
did, yeah.
Cut my legs up and everything. But that was the most scariest thing. But I still do it.
I know you do. I know you do.
And I know you tell me not to do it, but it's so hard when you hear Mom on the phone crying.
I know.
I've got a baby. I don't have anywhere to go. What can I do? What can you do? So sometimes I take them down to Rips, the
That's
hotel,
all you can do.
Because I'm so afraid to keep them in the house anymore.
But you can't. Yeah, I know. But you can't. I tell you 100 times, you can't be the one to take them.
I know.
You have to. Maybe we need to make a trip to talk to Rashern and get some money.
Get some funding because But Rips, they've been very nice about
because
the cost.
we need to be able to get them there in a cab and pay for it. With, you know, got to stop using our own funds because
I know that.
Let's use some of the city's resources. Let's use the Bowie Police Department. Let's look at our community service officer, Officer Benny Hennessy. And plus, we're getting ready to add another a community service officer to help Officer Henderson, who's doing a fabulous job with the community. But we have services within the city of Bowie that we could utilize some of these services.
They can pick up the women and take them? And they will do that?
We can investigate that and find out
do.
what can we do
but
along those lines.
But I think they would have to call too. But well,
you have to call. You have to call.
They have to make the call, and that's what they are. They're afraid to make that call.
They are afraid because they think because eventually they go back, Diane.
Well, I know they do. I know they do.
That's the whole problem right there. You go back.
Right.
And you're picking up the same people all the time. Anyhow, that's pretty frightening because you've got yourself into too many situations.
I've gotten in some bad situations. I realize that.
Yeah, but you have to be careful about that. You really, because the climate now is not the same as the climate was 10, 15, 20 years ago. You see a lot of different things that are happening now. My wife and I were discussing it last night. We saw on the television that one of the residents in Fairfax County had Christmas displays. I think it's like 73 of them or something like that. And the kids went around and vandalized just about every one of them there. And my wife and I, we were saying, you know, when we were kids, we may have been a little mischievous or something like that, but not vandals. You know, and so the economic, it may have something to do with the economics. I don't put it all on economics. I think it goes back to what we were talking about in our previous discussion about parenting. And also giving kids an opportunity to put them in the right place at the right time at the right position to learn the right things.
Right.
I have to agree. It's not all economics because, you know, I did some of my growing up on Flatbush and Myrtle.
Oh yeah.
And you know where that is in Brooklyn. I
sure do.
Not a very nice place.
You lived in Brooklyn, New York?
Yeah.
Oh my.
I lived down the street.
Did you?
A place called Harlem.
Oh my
so
gosh,
see, even then we were close. But the thing is that your mother didn't let you get away with anything.
No.
Didn't matter whether you were living poor or not. Your parents didn't let you get away with anything.
We didn't know we were poor. We thought we were all right.
That's, you know why? Because we were all poor.
Right.
And in the area, everybody was poor. But the thing is that the priests and the ministers and the rabbis, everybody was in the street. Everybody knew your name.
Yes.
If you had the priest come to your house, if they said, I got to come talk to your parent, you were in double trouble. First of all, the priest was allowed to punish you, and then your parents would punish you.
Right.
I'm still scared of the priest.
And I don't see that same influence in the neighborhoods anymore. So
no, you don't.
The kids they're not afraid of anybody or anything.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody to answer up to.
And you had what we call the gatekeeper or the neighborhood watcher.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And that would be the you know, the grandmother who was at home, you know, and she would look out.
That's right.
Looking out the window. Johnny, I see you out there. You better not do that. I'm going to tell your parents. You know, and then you
That
knew.
doesn't happen anymore because the parents are not even home during the day, most of them.
Yeah,
Right.
I know.
Right.
I know. And then it's like, how dare you talk to my child that
That's
way?
exactly
Yeah,
right.
because
Yeah.
right away they're afraid of being arrested because you don't know what the kid's going to say they did to me.
Yeah.
You know, you touched me or you did this, you did that, and you can't do anything. You just have to sit back and watch, and that's hard for me to do.
I know it.
That's
Me too.
very hard for me to do.
Me too. It's a lesson I'm learning.
I
and
know, I know.
Have to learn to do it.
Oh my God. I don't want to see all the kids dying and being molested like that. It's just, it's sickening, Diane.
Well, you know, the other thing too is that news reporting is so much better and broader than it was. So, and I don't think it's worse than it was 50 years ago.
It's instantaneous.
It's instantaneous. You're absolutely right. It's instantaneous. So you know about it right away. You know what happened in Colorado. We never knew what happened in Colorado.
Yeah, we just had our own areas.
Yeah, your world was the few blocks that you could walk to and belong to, and now everything just happens so fast that it just seems worse. And the same thing with people think that crime in Bowie was never this way. We always had crime. It's just that now we know about it because we have our own police force.
Right.
So, and our own police force reports to us about it too, and yeah, it might be a little bit higher, but you know they're reporting to us right away, and they're doing things about it right away.
So what are your goals for the next 2 years of your life?
Oh, to stay on this side of the grass.
I know. Not down under. You know what I mean. What are some of the things you want to see?
I would really like to see, you know, senior housing. Ike and I are of pretty much the same mind.
You feel the same way, Ike, about that?
We want the
We
senior
do
housing.
need to increase senior facilities
and the children.
care.
Yeah, the senior facilities and the children. But we need senior housing. We're losing all our seniors, all the people who made Bowie great, to places up the street because they have the senior housing. They have, you can downsize and go someplace. We can't downsize and go anywhere.
I've got a show coming up tomorrow on senior housing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we need it really bad. And this is a great guy. I'm not going to mention his name right now until I get him on the show.
Watch it, yeah.
Why don't you come on tomorrow, if you could?
I can't. I have school tomorrow. I have, My day tomorrow is just
Full.
full. Yeah.
What would you like to see for the future, Ike? Can I call you Ike?
Sure.
Okay. What do you see?
What
do you want?
Really, I want to see us do a better job with assisting the seniors with regard to medicines. And
Yes,
that
Medicare, yes.
That whole umbrella of the health care. That is something that we really need to do. Now, that's maybe not something as a council, as a Bowie City Council person, that we would have
But
the
prescription
ability.
drugs.
Right,
A woman can get a
prescription drugs.
mammogram. She can get a bone density test if
Right.
she needs it. Right, Diane?
Right.
There should be funds for that.
But
Women are
that's
scared
not,
to death.
That's not in city, and you
I know.
can't put that in your city budget, or
I know.
we
I know.
tax everybody right out of their home.
I know.
Right. But we need to have awareness programs on different areas where you can go to get prescription drugs.
Exactly.
For example, with my mother, I get all of her medicine for her.
Wonderful.
And one of the things, since I've been in the pharmaceutical industry for almost 30 years.
You look like a pharmacist.
Thank you.
You do.
So I've been in the industry, so I understand the nuances about prescription drugs plans. And there are a lot of ways that you can really take advantage of saving money in the prescription drug plans. A lot of folks have heard about the donut hole. And the donut hole is when you reach a certain amount of prescription drugs, and generally it runs from roughly about $38,000 or $23,000 all the way up to about $4,500. That's considered a donut hole. And when you're in a donut hole, you have to pay 100% of the prescription drug cost. So the thing for you to do is to try to slow the progression of getting in the donut hole. Well, you can do that in a number of ways. One of the ways I've done it with my mom is her prescriptions. Some of her prescriptions I do not take on her insurance. I do not have them go according to her insurance. What I'll do is I'll use a plan, a CVS plan, or I'll use a Giant plan, or I'll use a Walmart plan. And by doing that, you're not actually impacting her insurance. You're actually utilizing an insurance which is provided by the individual store, Walmart, and so forth and so on.
I hate to cut you off, but our time
He's going to have to do a show with you.
You're going to have to do a show with me together, just the two of us, because
you can really save your mom, your father, your loved one from going into the donut hole. And if you do that, prescription drug costs will be much less.
I want to thank the both of you for being here. I know you've got things to do, both of you. And I want to thank everyone who's going to watch this show. Open up your mouth, open up your eyes, and do something about it to help us. Thank you. Till next time.